Well, here we are again. We're going to catch some of George's passes he's making on his handle.
We're going to do under 3, over 3, under 3 to produce a gaucho pattern of 3 passes right here. So we'll do a run. Make sure you're laying right, tucking everything and making it tight. The first pass you count 1, 2, 3, and then you go under 3. So you go, after you made a couple of passes, you know just to go 1 back from the last one, go under 3, make a little room for the lace that's going to pass through. Feed your lace over 3, as you can see, and then under 3 through the tuck that you're trying to make, that you made room for, and then you draw it. Draw it tight. Now, wherever this comes out, go back 1, under 3. Make room, and draw your lace again, and that's the pass for this one. It takes time, it's slow, but you can see the pattern that's developing.
Really awesome.
And one by one, it takes time, it takes patience, but it's worth it.
We'll catch a few more and then we'll wait for the next set of passes after we clear the rubber band seizing.
You don't want to pull on your strands, the ones you're lifting to go under. You don't want to pull them too much, because then you distort the base work. But little by little, just a simple pattern. You can start by varying. It's better to go at least over 2, under 2 to develop a gaucho pattern, to develop chevrons. If you start going 1, over 1, the pattern develops more like a basket weave, more of a checker pattern, and it's harder to tuck in like that because the strands have to be flexing in really tight spots, and it leads more to breaking in your laces or cracking them if they get too dry.
About moisture content, should it be pretty much watched as you're braiding?
As you're braiding, as you go, take some foam from your soap and just keep your strands moist. Remember, it's not watery soap, it's just lather. The thicker the lather, the better. That means it's got less water in it, and because you don't want water, it turns soggy, and goat lace in particular gets really stretchy if it's over moistened. So
so if you over moisten, just let it dry out a little bit so it's flexible and not stretchy and gooey.
It should be about the consistency of a dry leather hide, not a really moist one, but more of a little dryness in this particular lace because of the characteristics of goat. Other hides, other kind of rawhide, the moisture content should be a little bit more, but they are more durable, they are thicker, you will have to split them. These particular lace, they are very thin because as you build your passes, you don't want to bulk up too much the shape of the object that you're trying to dress. Also, your Fid, it should have a thin profile, not a thick one, so that when you can just barely make room for them to slide in and slide out without distorting too much. As I braid and as I make a pass, I keep pushing them so that they lean in the correct angle, giving them a little tug and just in the direction of the twist.
And this helps keep it straight. Helps keep the chevron straight. Helps keep the rest of the braid straight as you go along.
In awkwardly shaped objects like this, if it was a straight cylinder, it would be pretty much symmetrical. The pattern would not be a problem, but since we are dealing with an odd shape, you have to watch that both angles, your base work and your passes, your turn back, that they lean in opposite angles and that they're even, so that your pattern doesn't distort or lay crooked or point to a different direction. So just keep that in mind. You make a pass and adjust the angle, give it a little tug, rub it down a little, and you're good. Grab one lace at a time. This particular handle only has 18. We're working with 18 strands. Typically, like in Argentina and other places, they double the count. When they say I'm working with 18 strands, they would multiply that by 2 and it would be 36. If they were working with 30 strands on the base work, and then they would multiply by 2 with the turnaround, and they would say it was 60. So this one is a 36 strand Fid Work. The direction that I'm working in is clockwise if you had if you were oriented like this, but I keep developing the pattern backwards. Some people work the opposite way. They start tucking in this way, counterclockwise or to the left, and it doesn't really matter. It's just what you're comfortable with. The base work of this I wrapped counterclockwise, so whenever you do your turnaround, it has to travel in the opposite direction of however you started. If I was oriented, I went counterclockwise or to the left with my base work. Then I did a turnaround and I am going in the opposite direction, this way. It seems a little confusing, but the strands are making a helix in one direction,
to the right hand,
traveling up, and then they make a helix in the opposite direction, traveling down.
Notice that gaucho work, it's turned out real nice.
And that's how the pattern is developing now. The tips of our seizing, the sinew I clip down short, and after we're all said, we're done with this project, I'll go back and I'll trim them and tuck them in and bury them. That way we don't have any seizings coming up through the pattern.